Hello, my name is Tina, and I'm a writer at Post-Apocalyptic Media. As you likely have heard, icon Tina Turner passed away this week after a long-term illness. Celebrity deaths isn't something we often talk about on Post-Apocalyptic Media, but given her amazing contribution to the genre with her role as Anti-Entity in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and her contribution to music as a whole, whether you're a fan or not, we figured we'd pay some tribute. She also had a major influence in my life, namely because my mom, who loved her music, named me after her. Of course, I tell people it's because Mom knew I'd be obsessed with Wastelands, and because I was born the same year as the movie came out, but still. While Fury Road is my favorite Mad Max movie so far, I've always loved the scenes in Beyond Thunderdome where Tina just shone. She stole the screen, whether she was trash-talking, shooting that amazing hand crossbow, and making a windy drive through the desert look majestic. While I'm more of an indie rock fan myself, you can't deny that all her songs are catchy as hell. Turner also exemplified the Wasteland look, showing that you could balance sexiness with fierceness. It was also evident that Anti-Entity's outfits were designed to command respect. Props to the costume designer there. She dressed for herself, not as a set dressing for the male gaze. This was something I always loved about her character, especially when I was growing up in the 90s, and there were few women for me to look up to that weren't Disney princesses. She knew what she had, and she wasn't afraid to use it for her own ends, and I thought that was amazing. She was also a wonderful female character because she wasn't a hero but a morally grey dictator. This idea was quite ahead of its time, where women back then were often evil witches or damsels, and that was it, especially in genre movies. We have George Miller to thank for that too, but Turner also leaned into the role, making it her own and giving it a vitality and power that outshone Gibson. In fact, there are many times I've watched the movie and just stopped watching after her final scene was over. Because I was like, oh, there's no point now. Aside from her iconic role in Thunderdome, Turner was born in 1939 and passed away at 83. She was known as the Queen of Rock and Roll, which is a pretty awesome moniker to have, and she's one of the best-selling recording artists of all time. She worked her way up from her childhood in rural Tennessee to background singer to part of the R&B duo Ike and Tina to her own magnificent solo artist career. Aside from Thunderdome, she also played the iconic Acid Queen in Tommy and sang the theme for GoldenEye. After hit, writing 4 books and raking in the dough, she moved to Switzerland where she remained until she passed. If you want to know a bit more about her history, you can check out Sean's article, which is more of an overview of her life. It's really interesting. She had a fascinating career, and she's a woman that I think that often, especially in my generation, younger, we kind of forget about, but really she was very inspirational, and it's super cool that I can show my kids Beyond Thunderdome one day and say, see that badass lady? I was named after her. If you haven't had a chance to really listen to her music, I highly recommend checking it out on Spotify or something. Or you could just buy the Mad Max record where she sings 2 songs. So there's that. To be honest, they're probably the best 2 songs on the album. I haven't listened to this thing in forever. You know what? Maybe I should. Thanks.